In our last episode of Future Digital, we talked about the strong dollar and how this is sending shockwaves across the world's economies. It's also affecting cryptocurrencies, obviously. One of the main causes for this is the massive rise in interest rates by the Fed, which essentially means debt becomes more expensive. Countries with weaker currencies need to respond in kind, so they can remain at least somewhat relevant. Italy, for example. Italy is relevant. They just elected a super far-right prime minister, so they're definitely relevant. But lots of countries are also raising their interest rates, except so far Japan, which is trying to hold out. If we look at Italy, however, which is a relevant country, they're facing a debt crisis. Why is it always Southern Europe with these economic crises? One reason is fairly bad economic indicators like aging populations, slow growth, excessive borrowing compared to their GDP, and people adding extra vowels to their words. For example, when the Italians speak. That's just one reason. Another reason is the energy crisis. Yes, we should be using renewable energy resources as much as we possibly can, but most countries are slow to do this. Many have even stupidly allowed themselves to become dependent on Russian natural gas imports. This whole crisis, which has been stoked from Russia's war on Ukraine and the resulting sanctions war, is seriously threatening the European Union and its members with a recession. Now, your average American might think that a strong dollar is great. Go USA! But not really. Remember that a strong dollar means exports are more expensive for buyers using other currencies. Let's say that a bottle of California wine that costs $10 is sold in Italy because Italians love good wine. If the euro, which Italy uses, is stronger than the dollar, the bottle is cheaper. But if the euro is weak against the dollar, that bottle becomes more expensive, so they won't buy it as much. That hurts the winemaker. In other words, a stronger US dollar actually hurts American exports. This is basically called a trade deficit, when imports outweigh exports. Currently, the US trade deficit is somewhere around $1 trillion, or roughly 5% of the gross domestic product of the entire country. US debt is already more than 100% of GDP. So, what does all this mean? It means that massive multinational companies that are headquartered in the US but do business in other countries with weaker currencies, still have to report their earnings in dollars. But because of the current exchange rates, these earnings will be reported as losses. Somewhere around 30% of the revenues of the S&P 500 stock index come from outside the US. This is going to have a major impact on Americans' portfolios. Your average American might not even have a stock portfolio, but it's still going to affect them directly in terms of inflation, job market, the usual suspects. And don't forget the threat of recession. We live in the era of globalization, which was originally intended to unite the world, make war unthinkable as we're all connected. It almost seems like someone is manipulating the situation. Who could that be? How long will all this last? Right now, no one knows. The Fed has said it will continue raising interest rates. Russia's war won't end anytime soon, and with Putin's mobilization, record numbers of spies are fleeing the country. Hell, there's even talk of nuclear war. James Bond was right. This is no time to die, but he did, and we need him.
I know.
But how long will it last, and is there anything that can be done? Yes, something can be done. It's called international coordination, and it's been done before. The last time the dollar was this high, in the mid-1980s, global finance ministers reached an agreement known as the Plaza Accord. As a result, the dollar lost about half of its inflated value, and a lot of other currencies gained roughly the same number in their deflated value. It doesn't mean Americans were 50% poorer, it means the currency exchange rates were adjusted to the benefit of everyone. And the Plaza Accord succeeded. Could this happen again today? Yes, of course. But this time around, something similar would be much more complex to pull off, mostly because the global economy has evolved so much in the past 35 years. For example, back then, we didn't have cryptocurrencies. How does this affect the crypto market? The crypto market is basically following the same trends. Everything that has a beginning, however, also has an end. I'd like to remind everyone I am not a financial advisor, and neither are you, unless of course you are, but how would I know? Future Digital is brought to you from Estonia, the crypto capital of the European Union. This episode's fact about Estonia will be about the sauna. Going to sauna is a major cornerstone of Estonian culture. Friends spend time together, business agreements can be made in the sauna as well as families. Just kidding, sex in a sauna is not fun. But saunas can often exceed 100 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than boiling water. And to make the experience even better, Estonians throw water on the rocks on top of the sauna oven, which creates a wonderfully hot steam. Then what do? They beat each other on the backs with leafy sticks and call it a massage. And before you say I'm lying and I should get my facts straight, you should first get a sense of humor. After the sauna, Estonians jump out into the cold. Why? Because it's refreshing. So while Estonians often complain in September, when summer ends, that the temperature changes from hot to cold too fast, the rest of the year, when someone suggests they go to sauna, Estonians are quick to say, "Sauna! Yeah! Let's cut a hole in the ice!" Just kidding, Estonians don't speak. Thanks for watching Future Digital. We'll be back before you know it.